Let's learn about numbers now. Numbers in computers are incredibly important, and Ruby is no exception. We can define different kinds of numbers though. The first kind of number we're going to learn about is known as an integer, or a whole number. So for example, number 10 here is what's called a literal whole number. Second example is assigning that to a variable called myInt, and with the value 105. And the third here is x equals -5. So an integer can also be a negative. We can also have what's known as a fractional number, or a float. So here, the literal 3.14 is a float. Or when we assign it to a variable called x, 4.0 is our variable version of our float. It's also often useful to be able to convert to different types. So for example, we can convert a string to an integer by using a special method here called to_i. What we're doing in this case is calling the method on the string. So we're doing 100.to_i, and that will return us an integer. We can also convert an integer back to a string. And remember our interpolation? We can use that here. We can put the number 100, or that might be a variable containing the number 100, inside our interpolation characters with the £sign and double quotes. Similarly, we can convert a string to a float. So it's just the same as an integer, but in this case, we're going to end up with 100.0, which is a fractional number. Of course, if we had 100.1 in our string and called to_f on that, we would end up with a float, of course, 100.1. We'll learn a little more about types as we go through the course, and you'll understand the difference between string, integer, and float, and when they're useful.